Alright folks, welcome to the XI tutorial. Like I did with the X tutorial, this is basically going to be the same thing, just for XI. I'll put timestamps in the pinned comment or the description for each section. But yeah, so quick things, like, speed, I would recommend probably at least, like, I don't know, maybe 3 rows. So, like, just have a full backpack and then maybe, like, an extra row in your inventory. Yeah. I mean, you really, I mean, you need a lot, but, like, you don't need to overdo it and get a full backpack and a full inventory. Like, you have a full backpack and half an inventory, you'll probably be fine. I mean, you're probably gonna have to leave school at some point or another anyway, especially if you're the type of person that likes to do events, and, like when Serena does stuff for, Valentine's Day and Christmas and stuff. If you're the type of person that likes to do that, you're probably gonna have to leave school anyway at some point. I mean, if you don't care about that, like me, then, I mean, that's just better for you. But yeah, you might, if you are the type of person that likes to do events, you might just have to come with terms to the fact that you're probably never gonna just get like a stretch of time where there isn't gonna be any events. And if you really like doing events that much, then you probably are gonna have to leave school at some point. Okay. But yeah. So yeah, let's get started here. So, first thing, come up, go up this ladder. Don't go under the iron bars. Try, if, like, just for speed purposes, go in between, like, the corner. I don't know why I'm going over that jump. It's not even, I don't know. So then you got a slime, then some easy glass. And you can, if you want, you can download a texture pack to make these. Like, I think when I was XI, like, really early into it, I had, like, one that made it look like diamond blocks, just so it was really easy to see. But I don't do that anymore. I don't find it necessary. But then, yeah, and then this is the only one I stop on, just to, kind of get going again. And if you're failing these glass jumps a lot when you first get XI, don't be discouraged, because, what's it called? I think everyone does that. Like, when I got XI, I was literally failing these for, like, the first 3 days, and I would literally only get to the tree, like, once every couple of minutes. It was kind of sad, to be honest. But it's because, I mean, even though they're really easy, when you're rushing through them and not, like, you're not actually lining them up, you'd be surprised at how much you fell just because you're rushing. But yeah, so it does take a little bit of getting used to, so don't be discouraged. You're not the only one, okay? So in this jump, you can just, like, imagine where the first and second block meets the third-ish, and then just semi-HH. It's pretty easy. And then, you come to here, 2 head hitter timings. This one, I believe you can fail. Say if you have quick enough reaction time, you can land here, but it's like, I mean, you're early on enough where it doesn't really matter. So, and then, yeah, head hitter. This one, oh, whoops. You can either head hitter. Okay, why do I keep being bad? You can either head hitter or, okay. So, yeah, for this jump, you can either head hitter, or what I like to do is I like to semi-HH, and, basically, what I pretend that this paint isn't even there. So if you remember the jump in B1 to 2, it's literally that exact thing. So I semi-HH and just go for the ladder, because, that's what I like to do. But then for this jump, some people like to get barely on that block and then 4.5 time to here. I personally think that takes way too much time, and it's easier to just do that and get to here, but it's up to you. And then this jump, you can, there's a trap door here, an iron trap door on the real server. It's not updated, so you can just skip to it, from here. There's really no reason not to, but if you don't want to, then go ahead, go to here. And then if you do go to here, you literally never fail that, because you can just land there, and then you come in here. And then here, you can either head hitter, but that's yucky, so I do 110, and then 2 taps, and then Pessy, and then it's, nice, easy peasy. And then this jump, this jump is hard at first, but once you get used to it, it's not bad. Just look pretty straight. Just make sure you're not going to brush up against this block and get wobble sprints. So if you want, just look a little bit out from 180. Just make sure you're in the positives, the positive coordinates. So basically, you just want a 4.5 time it, and then strafe, maybe a little bit of a curve. But the main thing is the strafe. And then this jump, I really don't like this jump. It's pretty bad. But basically, you need the head hitter, and then curve and strafe. It's just kind of yucky, to be honest. But, it's just one of those jumps that I can't really help you too much on. You're just going to have to kind of get used to for yourself. If I could give you one tip, it would be to try and like don't do a full 180, kind of land facing this general area. But yeah, and then this jump. For this jump, you know, you can either head hitter it, but that's gross. So I use coordinates, so like 800 and I don't know. Let's try 4. Yeah, 804. You could probably even go in a little bit more and do like 825 or something. It's pretty lenient. You probably don't even need to be exactly at 4. But yeah, then this jump. Some people do a weird thing where they head hitter it and land on top of the ladder. I'm sorry, I'm not sure what the strat is for that. I think it's just a coordinate that you face and you head hitter and you magically land on it. I don't know how you do that because I don't do that strat, but if you want to use that strat, you're just going to have to ask people. I'm sorry, but I don't know it. So what I do is I go like around the middle in 2 taps and then just look so you're... I always parkour with cords open, if you haven't noticed. So your crosshair, I make it like a little bit, the blue line a little bit away from the block, and then I 4.5, and then just curve and strafe. And I literally never fail this jump, which is why I don't use the head hitter strat. But for some people, I guess this jump is really difficult. For me, it just is really easy, I guess. Okay, so the alternative strat for this is you go to 56 on the back corner, and then you force momentum and just hold space and curve, and then you land on the ladder, and it's magic. So I'll show it again real quick. So just face 56 and force momentum, and then you land on top of the ladder, and it helps if you hold space instead of like just hold space, because then you'll jump on the ladder, and if you don't hold space, then this will happen. See, so it's bad, but yeah. Okay, so that's the strat I use. So you need a strafe and curve for that. And then here, what I do is because obviously you can't regular force momentum with speed, you're gonna just go off. So what I do is I like face right here, and this kind of helps slow you down against the block, and then I turn out at the last second. The only thing with that is you do have to curve out more than, you know, if you're good at slow forces. I personally am not, because I never do them. Then by all means, just do that. Or, you know, you can head hitter this. I would not recommend head hittering it, because the slow force is pretty easy. But yeah, then this just go against the ladder, trapdoor up, then 2 taps. And the only thing I can say for this jump is, it's a 2 tick and hold space, by the way. But if you realize that you either overshot or undershot, just try and land here, and then you can come back. But that's the type of thing that you're only going to get good at catching yourself once you're, like, really, pretty good at Courtyard. And you've done this jump multiple times. Like, it's not just, you're not just going to be able to catch yourself 100% of the time day 1, okay? But yeah, then this jump is also nerfed on real. This pane right here is gone, so it actually makes it way easier. So what I do is I just go to the edge and face, like, the middle of this slab, and then semi-HH and curve into the ladder. And it actually will sometimes work with here, depending on the curve, but the curve has to be a lot more precise to not hit the pane. But it's pretty easy on real. But apparently this strat works for this jump. I guess it does. I didn't realize that. But yeah, so you just need to semi-HH and just curve, no strafe. And then this jump, you know, run. This jump, you can head hitter if you're a yucky boy, but I'm not. So you can either, what I do is I go to 700 and 300. Which, by the way, if you don't know how to get to point 300, like on your Z, or like whichever one you're like against the block on, basically what the trick is you just press W and you look like a little bit over from 90 or 180 or 0 or whatever it is for that given jump. And then drinking speed will also help. So like if I'm at 299, if like sometimes like if you go like this, you just can't get it. So what you need to do is you need to face this way and just kind of go over a little bit and drink speed. But yeah, so then 90.2, make sure you're at 0.700 and 0.300. Make sure you have speed, and do 5 taps back. And this should be 287, this should be 299, and then you can just semi-HH and strafe in at the last second. And then, yeah. And then for this jump, 28.0, Pessy with sprint. Then this jump, just going to need to head hitter it. But Again, this is the type of thing that you're not going to be able to catch yourself on this on, like, day one. But once you get used to it, if you get a... Okay, I got a head here that time. But if you get a semi-HH, you can catch yourself here. But it's kind of going to take some getting used to realize that and catch yourself in time. But, yeah. So you're just going to head hitter that. And then this, I've seen some people do it from down here. I don't understand why you would do that when you could just come up here and make it literally, like... I mean, it still is easy from there, but it's even easier from up there. And then these, you know, if you don't know how to do these by now, I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. And then this, what I do is I get chain momentum from back. So I basically activate sprint at the last second. The trick to not over jump is to kind of go against the pane and kind of activate sprint like almost, I don't know, maybe like right after you're done brushing against the pane. It kind of depends. Like, it can be different depending on how close, like, depending on how much you rub against the pane. It's just kind of something you need to get a feel for, but it's really not too difficult. But if you really don't want to do that, I just drop my speed. If you really don't want to do that, the other option is to just run it from here, but I don't like that because it's a 2-tick. But yeah, so then this one, I just do like 2 taps in and look slightly out, and then, okay, nice 4.5 timing, cup, 2 taps, and then 4.5 timing, and then you could find chords for this if you want. I personally don't think it's really necessary. You could even do like 3 taps, but as soon as you land on the ladder, what I do is what am I doing? Okay, apparently I can have 4.5 time. You're gonna need to strafe once you land on the ladder, because you almost saw there I almost fell off, and the only reason I didn't was because I strafed. Okay, but that time I strafed too early, so I just strafe like... Okay, what? How did I not make that? I haven't done this jump in a while, okay? Don't freaking bully me. What is going on? Okay. See, I'm like talking about strafing, and now I'm like way overthinking it. Just strafe as soon as you land on the... I don't understand. Okay. Don't watch this tutorial anymore. Just click off right now, because apparently I'm literally the worst player in the game. Yeah, there we go. I was like strafing so early, like literally before I even landed on the ladder, just because I was overthinking it so much. But just strafe as soon as you land on the ladder to not fall off. Okay, and then this jump, just face like 96.8. You have like a pretty big window of what chords you can use. I'm not sure what the window is, but like if I do like 97.6, that'll also work. Basically, you're just gonna land on top of the ladder, and then yeah. Then this, you can either do 1 tap back and head hitter and hold space. And as you can see, you can correct yourself if you get a semi-HH, but it's like, I don't know, I find it easier and just less risky to just go anywhere in between like 650 and 600 and to face like 90-ish and then just semi-HH and hold space. But yeah, you can choose which strat you want to use for that. But then this jump, you know, you just want to walk off and activate sprint. Like, basically want to activate sprint so you crash into the iron bars. I mean, I guess if you really wanted, you could find chords for this, but it's easy enough where it's, you know, it's not a big deal. You just want to try and crash into the iron bars on the side. Okay? Then, yeah, you land here. These, if you really want, you can make your X 0.700 on all of them. Just to absolutely guarantee that even though it's Z facing, if I like, you know, if I'm somehow at like 280 instead, then I might, alright, you don't need to do that. Sometimes, I don't know why it happens, but sometimes for me, even though it's Z facing, if my X isn't 0.300, I'll like it'll act like X facing. I don't really know why that is, but, I don't know. So yeah, just semi-HH all those, then you can, it's your choice whether or not you want to heal. When I was XI, I healed for this, but now that I, you know, I'm an M3 player, and I have to do the regular ladder Neo in M1. I just use speed, but a lot of people do find it easier no speed. But the trick is to basically strafe and curve. You need to just strafe like kind of late though. Don't strafe right after you jump. It's not that bad. You just kind of need to get a feel for it. And then this, you know, semi-HH. And then this, you know, semi-HH, and then I come up onto here, and then some people have, like, a HH strat for this, but it's, like, again, it's, like, why head hit or something? Even if you can catch yourself, like, why put yourself through the stress of, like, having to, like, be on edge and be ready to catch yourself when you could just not do that? So what I go is to 0.0, and negative 4.8 and just semi-HH and hold space, and it's easy. And then this jump, pretty much the same as what I said over there for that slow force, where you go to that ladder to that trapdoor. So I basically make my crosshair, I go to the corner of the block, and then I slow force and curve out. But again, I mean, you can just run this if you want, or, you know, if you're really good at slow force, you could just not have to look out. It's up to you. But then this jump, I look, like, you see where the school, it has, like, that checkerboard type thing? I look, like, at the center of that, and then you want to aim to land on the cobble wall, okay? Because if you don't, one, I just find it easier to land on the cobble wall. But two, if you land on the ladder, it's kind of weird to get down here. Like, you probably won't fail it too often, but you might fail it once in a while. And it's like, why fail something if you don't need to? So, the trick is to just look there. Okay, I did not get a head hitter. Head hitter and just strafe kind of like once you pass this cobble wall. Maybe even slightly before it. But yeah, and then this jump, go to like 950. And then like 5.0. And then just run it. And the trick is to not strafe at all. So just curve like as soon as you pass this, and then I promise you'll make it every time. Yeah, this is probably the, like, see, even right there, even though I like clearly brushed against this cobble wall, you can still make it. So in this jump, again, I look at like the center of that checkerboard-ish thing, and then I semi-HH. Or actually, no, I lied. I don't look at the center of that checkerboard thing. I look at this post right here, and then I semi-HH with speed, and the trick is to strafe again. It kind of just takes getting used to. Some people find this easier without speed, or to like head hitter it without speed, but it's up to you. You might just want to play around with this for yourself, but this is just the strat I use, because this is just what I find easiest. But yeah, so then this jump, I'm gonna give you the best strat you've ever seen in your entire life to never fail this jump again. Okay, so you go against, you don't go on top of the fence, but on the cobble wall, against the wall, and against the fence, okay? And then look at the corner, and then Pessy HH, and it's freaking magic. I swear, if you fail this, you're probably still better than me, but, you know. So, yeah, just look at the corner, and then Pessy HH, and it's, even if you do a slow Pessy, like this is a slow Pessy, it works, and if you do a fast Pessy, it also works, so it's magic. Alright, double cross, probably the hardest jump in Courtyard. So what I do, is I face this corner, 2 taps over using D, and then I look, again, like the checkerboard type thing, and then, okay, I'm bad at the game, and then I 4.5 time and just curve. No strafe, because strafing is for, I'm bad. I haven't done this in a while, so don't bully me. Whoa, what the heck was that? Okay, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm normally not this bad at double cross, but I just haven't done it. There we go. So, yeah, that's the strat I prefer. But some people, I don't know what the chords are. I believe it's like 650 and like maybe 60. I don't know. And then they what is it? And then they like head hitter and get HH momentum. I don't like that. I mean, one, it's a head hitter, and two, the head hitter momentum, it's just, I feel like I would always hesitate on that on the real server, but, you know, it's up to you. I personally like this strat better. If you want to use that head hitter momentum strat, you're going to have to look up the chords for yourself, because I'm sorry, but I don't know them. I think Abax's tutorial has them, because I think he uses that strat. But yeah, and then this jump, you know, just come down to here, and then this do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 taps back, and then you can just semi-HH. And then, you know, easy trapdoors, these are all fail-safe anyway. And then here, what I do, and for all these invisible Neos, you can just technically head hitter them, but it's like, why would you, you know, why would you risk head hittering them if you don't need to? So this one, the important thing is to get to 0.300 on this, and then I face like 90.6, and then I just back up until my thing is at 289, and then I just run it and strafe. Pretty easy, nothing really bad. And then this one, I go to 275, and then 92.5, and then I run it, and then strafe. The running is a bit of a short timing, so you might have to, it's not hard, but it's just like, I don't YOLO it. Don't YOLO any of these strats on the real server. Like, always practice the strats before you do them, just so you know what you're supposed to do. But yeah, and then this one, there's two strats. Okay, so you can either head hitter, or what I did, and honestly at this point I kind of regret doing this. It would probably be easier to just head hitter. But what you can do is go to 135 and 96, and if you slow Pessy, you will make it. So basically, slow Pessy is you essentially are waiting a tick, I believe, in between when you're pressing space and W. So like a fast Pessy is just space then W, no ticks in between, and then a slow Pessy is a space, wait a tick, then W. So to me, honestly, it just doesn't seem like slow Pessy for me is just like not, I don't know. I mean, I guess it is slightly easier than a head hitter, but it's like, I don't know. For me, I feel like it would just be easier to head hitter this, but it's up to you. You can test around. Maybe you're one of the people that just naturally slow Pessy, and I mean, if that's the case, then by all means, go ahead and use that strat. But then this, I just face like the center of the trapdoor. It doesn't really matter. And then fast or slow Pessy. If normal Pessy jumps, you can slow or fast Pessy, and they'll both work. That's kind of like the point of Pessy, is so you have like more leeway, because if you can only do one, it's basically kind of still just as luck as a head hitter, because it's like, like the ticks you just can't realize fast enough. So it's like, but the whole point of Pessy is to be able to realize, and then you can, you can do it. Basically, imagine being able to either jam or get a HH timing, and it'll still work. That's kind of like what a Pessy is, just the opposite. Hopefully I'm explaining that well. I don't know. I'm not Uber Leetzer. Ask him. Okay. So then this jump, yeah, you just want to walk and strafe and curve. It's not too bad. And then this jump, what I do is I face like that pain tower and go in this window, and then I like wait a tick, and then you want to start strafing like pretty much right after you jump. Not right after, but like maybe wait like half a second. Because you don't want to hit this, obviously. But then, yeah, you need to tuck pretty tight in order to land here. Or, I mean, if you want, you can head hitter this. I don't know why you do that. Or you can, go to 0.300 and back up, and then A7 HH. It's up to you. But then here, come here, and then you got a nice little 0.900, and then 103.5, and then just a nice little 4.5 timing. Slight curve. It's very lenient. Then this jump, again, I'm sorry, I don't know what the chords are, but somehow people, I think, can head hitter this and, like, land on top of the ladder. I don't know how they do that, so you're gonna have to ask around if you want those chords. I'm sorry, I don't know them, but what I do is I just run it. Okay, I'm pretty bad. Just run it, face, like, in between, like, these 3 brick blocks right here. I just face, like, the middle of that, and then just run it, and strafe late. Again, it's just kind of, that jump I can't help you too much on. It's just kind of the thing where you're going to have to kind of experiment with the strafe and curve and just get used to it for yourself. That's kind of the story for XI, to be honest. It's like, you can have strats, but a lot of it is just getting used to it, to be honest. But then this jump, don't foul it twice like me, because I'm bad at the game. You're just going to want to run it, or wait a tick, or not, or run it from the back of the window, and you have to wait a tick or else it won't work. You can't hold space or else that'll happen. So, yeah. And then this, or you can either, I've heard that you can burst HH from here. I personally don't know how to burst HH, so, I can't do that. But, yeah, then this jump, don't sneak glitch off and be a silly Billy. Easy stuff. Then, this just go to the corner and face the corner. And then these, 160, Pessy, curve, string speed, HH, and then face 70, Pessy walk, curve, 160, Pessy walk, and curve. And they don't have to be exact. Like, I just did 159.1. I think you actually could be, like, a solid 1 degree off, and it would still work. But, yeah. And then this one, just go to the back corner, face this, and then just 2-tick it. It's a pretty bad timing, to be honest, although somehow I failed it no times ever on real. It's not really a bad timing, it's just hesitation. But yeah. So you just don't be a silly Billy and fail that, okay? Okay, and then you get to here, and then, you just got a nice little, another one of these, face 70, head hitter, or it's an alternate strat. Either way, it's going to be one head hitter timing. What you can do is head hitter and then, like, activate sprint at the last second. But, I mean, if you for whatever reason, you're really bad at the PESI, way to, you know, do these, this is a valid strat. I never do it, so that's why I mean, I'm sure you could easily get good at this strat. It's not difficult at all. But I don't really know why you'd want to do that instead of just PESI and then head hitting later, but it's up to you. And then, you know, paint up. Then this one, some people use chords. I don't, because that's for silly billies, because my name is rlab1975. And then I go just like eyeball around the middle, use the pane for reference, and then face this corner right here. 3 tick, and then wait a tick on the landing. Can't hold space, unfortunately. But the trick is, this is a bad jump. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, you might one-shot this on real, but it's you know, it's a pretty bad jump. So you need to 3 tick and wait a tick, and you need to start curving like right, kind of like. Okay, that was a 4 tick. You need to start curving kind of like right as you're landing, maybe like a little bit before you're landing. Again, I said this, but, you know, this XI is a lot of just, like, I can give you strats, but a lot of it is just kind of, okay, why am I failing the 4+1 this much? There we go. Okay, so I was overcompensating for the curve. It's a pretty slow curve, you know, but yeah. So maybe actually start slow curving, like, when you're, like, halfway through this jump. I don't know what I was doing. I was, like, overthinking it. But yeah, that's, if you do, get a 2 tick and you realize, the best thing you can do is just fail safe and, come back to, this trapdoor. But you're gonna want to come over more to this side, I guess. But it's rough, so hopefully you won't get a 2 tick. But what I do for the 3 tick is I jump before it, and that way it makes me, I very rarely fail 3 ticks when I jump before it. But yeah. Whoops. Yeah. But I recommend jumping. I jump before, like, all of my timings just because, I don't know, it makes it easier for me for some reason. But for some reason, like, right now, I'm just complete, like, trash. Probably because I'm warming up, and I decided to record the tutorial as a warm-up. But, yeah, we're just not going to talk about it, okay? Okay, so then, oh, and, last thing, you can either stop on this or not. I personally recommend just running it in succession, because if you stop on it, you might get hesitation and, like, you know, do the weird thing where you even though you're at the edge of the block and you shifted, that happens where you could see that I was at the edge of the block and shifted, but it still makes you go off. I don't know, it's up to you. But then this, you know, just drop down a hole, and then you're in R1. And by the way, I should have said this earlier, but Courtyard, easily the hardest part of XI in my opinion. Like, people get discouraged because it's like, oh my god, I can't even beat Courtyard, how am I ever gonna get XII? But it's like, honestly, Courtyard is easily the hardest part. Like, Courtyard took me maybe like a month or 2, because I quit like halfway in between it. But then R4 to 8, first time it took me like a week, and the second time it took me like 3 days. So it's you'd be surprised. Like, R4 to 8 is kind of overrated, because back when PESI HH wasn't a thing, it was really bad. But now that PESI HH is a thing, people have good strats. It's like, it's actually pretty easy. But yeah, let's go on to R1 now. So, you know, you start off, come to here, just go on from this jump, and then head hitter, hold space, easy stuff. Then this, back up a little bit. I'm bad at the game. Head hitter, I'm really bad at the game. And then come up onto this barrier, and then I'll put this out so you can see. You're basically gonna want to run under this. Make sure you go off to this side, so you have a 2.5 ceiling instead of a 2 block. Yeah, then just run under this, and then, you know, you can just jump over that. The skip might take a tiny bit of practice since it is invisible and you don't quite know where you're going, but yeah. And then, you know, come up here. Then this one again, you can either A7 or back up a little bit and semi-HH, or HH, I mean. And then this, the only thing to watch out for, I kept failing this on real, and I could not figure out why. And eventually I learned that it's because this cheeky little ladder is up here, So just be aware that that ladder is there, and you need to kind of compensate for it. Don't overcompensate, but, you know, just be aware that it's there. And then this, you know, again, you can either back up a little bit, HH, or, you know, again, back up a little bit, A7HH, it's up to you. Oh, I should have go over what A7HH is. If you don't know it, I didn't learn it until I was XII, so you actually don't really need it for XI. But basically what it does is it bypasses X-facing blockage to a degree. You still can't go, like, right up next to it and do it, but you could go, like, on a ladder. Like, if this was a... Here. Like, normally, if I was... Okay, there's a ladder here, so it's not going to work for the example, but... Basically, it makes you jump slightly further, and it kind of bypasses X-facing blockage. But basically, I'm assuming you all know what the semi-HH shred is. You press W on the same tick as you land. But for A7HH, it's very reliable if you get good at it. It's not like a HH timing regular where it's luck. But you basically press it one tick before you land. So, yeah, it takes a little bit of getting used to, but if you can learn it, just make sure you're not going to sacrifice your regular semi-HH timing for it, because that's what happened to me. I learned it, and then my semi-HH timing just went to absolute garbage because I was doing that instead of it. So, yeah. But then this, you know, semi-HH, easy, head hitter, new keyboard equals bad head hitter timing, follow me on Twitch. Okay, cool. Then this one, you know, back up a little bit, and then just head hitter. And, you know, basically, it's essentially the jump in park, but... Okay, I'm really bad, but it's actually harder because, one, there isn't a ladder here, and two, there's not a wall here that you can lean on, so you actually do have to do, like, the full turn around and face this block. So, you know, just go out a little bit, head hitter, and then strafe and curve. It's, again, just gotta practice it for yourself, to be honest, but it's really not that bad. Then this, you go to 106.2, and then 1, 2, 3 taps, and then... It's kind of counterintuitive because you want to do, like, a long timing, but you actually have to do only, like, a 2-tick. Because if not, then it won't work. I think it's a 2-tick. But, like, it's counterintuitive. But then, yeah. And then once you're on it, you want to wait a tick and start slightly curving before you jump again. So, it takes a little bit of practice. This is maybe the hardest jump in R1. But, yeah, as you can see, it is a bit of a doozy, as the cool folks say, but, yeah. And then this, you can either, there might be a way to Pessy this, but it's probably not worth it, because you'd have to heal, so just head hitter this. And then 98.1, 2 taps, semi-HH, hold space, curve, you know, pretty easy stuff. Then this one, you know, we want to land on the fence, but if you don't, then you'll still be fine. Just come down to here. Okay, what the heck was that? You come down to here, and then come down to here, and then you want to go so you're just barely on this slab, and then look at, like, the center of the staircase, and then run off and hold space, because essentially what you're doing is you're jumping over these barriers. But yeah. So then, you know, you come up here, you know, and then you could do, like, I think it's 2 taps, and then head hitter, make sure your speed doesn't run out. 2 taps, head hitter, and then kind of slightly curve and hold space to just jump right onto this ladder. But yeah, and then, you know, easy stuff. And then, you know, this is kind of like the jump in Courtyard, but easier, so you just want to run it, then curve and strafe right after you do it. Semi-HH, then this, you know, you can either, I just run it, and then head hitter. And then this one, this jump's kind of bad, but basically you need to head hitter, curve, and strafe. But this is Z-facing, luckily, so it's not too bad. But yeah, so just look like, I don't know, maybe like kind of near this cobble wall in that general area. The head hitter and curve and strafe. If I could get a head hitter, that'd be good. But all of this stuff, by the way, is all fail-safe to back to here. So in a way, R1 actually has like 2 floors, because this is like floor 2 right here. But yeah. So then, you know, you come up here, you got some easy stuff, just don't be a silly Billy. And then these, you just gotta head hitter them. I mean, you could, if you really wanted to, I guess what you could do is, you know, just walk them without speed to get a 4-tick, and then they wouldn't be luck. But It's honestly not worth it. I mean, you got the floor 2 failsafe, so just head near them. This jump, maybe find like a facing, not like a chord, but yeah, just look at that window, like the center of it. Curve, and then maybe strafe a little bit. It's not too bad. And then this jump, basically, this is just patience. So I like going in F5 because it allows you to see when you're under it better. But then, yeah, so you just want to let go of shift and shift again really quickly. Pretty self-explanatory. And then this, just slowly go out. And then I believe the coordinate is actually 75.0 if you want to watch your coordinates to get like a reference on when you need to stop curving out. But yeah, and then this, you know, head hitter, just skip to here so you don't have to do this head hitter as well. And then this, you can either, if you want to use the non-head hitter strat, you can go to 89.2, 1, 2, 3, 4, taps back, and then do a quick little, I'm mad at the game. 1, 2, 3, 4, hold up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure you make this a 0.700 first, so then it should be 0.708. But then jump and then like wait a little bit in between. Or you could just head hitter. It's up to you. And then this jump, we're going to use the exact same strat. So, it's 0.700, 0.300. 1, 2, 3, 4. Jump. You can't jump, and then for some reason, I don't know, it's like a weird mechanic, but you can't jump and then like do it right after the jump. So just like wait like half a second and then run it and then just strafe in at the last second. It's pretty easy. Yeah, and then this, you can either just head hitter, or I believe there's actually a way to semi-HH it. I'm not sure. I think you need like chords for it. But, because I believe I actually semi-HH this, but I don't remember how I did that. Okay, whatever those chords were, just use those, I guess. Then this, one tap forward, and then just HH and turn in at the last second and just hold space, and it's actually quite easy. This one, you don't even need to flip the trapdoor, it's just a 3+1. And this one, don't go out against the wall, but obviously don't go out too much, so when you flip the trapdoor, you're just going to be fall. So just go out a little bit. Flip the trapdoor, run it, and curve in. Not too bad. And then you get to R2. GG. Too bad it's not a failsafe. So then this one you can face like 165. It's pretty lenient, but just around 165. And then, you know, ladder. And then what I do for this to get barely on the block, instead of doing like a tap inward like that, what I do is I face just slightly over, and then I do a tap with my strafe keys, and it gets you just barely on it. And then you can just run that. Come to here, you know, come to here, and then this, what you're going to want to do, let me actually check what the chords are for this, 0.50 and 0.75, okay, so you're going to want to come to point, in between 0.50 and 0.75, face 90.0, semi-HH, and just tap space on the panes. Don't hold space because you will overjump. Yeah, just face 90, semi-HH, and tap space. And then once you clear this fence, you're going to want to strafe over, so you land on this ladder, okay? And then, you know, come to here, and then this one, what I do is I just head hitter, and then even if you do get a semi-editor, if you have fast reaction time, you can, what you can do is, you can catch yourself and land here. But yeah, if you really don't like that strat, then what you can do is come over with no speed and do like one tap over. But, you might get caught on the ladder a little bit, so you can't jump before you do this timing, which is why I don't really like it. But then you can just run it without speed. It's up to you. But yeah, and then, you know, easy stuff. You know, pretty easy. Then this, what I heal for this, just because, oh, what the, you want to try and not do what I just did. You want to try and hit the pane, so it makes you not, like, zoom off, and this would be really easy. You could just do this like a regular pane tower, but these blocks are above your head, so you can't get a guaranteed semi-HH. What the? But yeah, so I heal for them. If you don't want to heal for them, you know, it's up to you. It's still not too bad with speed, but you have to really curve pretty sharply. They're like fast, but you can't hit the corner. I don't know, it's just easier without speed, but it's up to you. Then this, you know, this one you can either just kind of eyeball it and run it, but I don't really like that strat because it's yucky. You could probably find like a coordinate to run it, but what I do is I just go around the middle and then like one tap forward and then just pass the HH and hold space and then kind of just turn out at the last second. It's kind of a weird thing because like Pessy HH with that 2.5 ceiling, but yeah. So that's what I do. That's up to you. And then you can just run, I said you can just run this, if I can get back in it. Yeah, and then this one, probably the hardest jump in R1 to 2, or R1 to 3, I mean. It's a pretty bad jump, but luckily it is kind of fail-safed. I don't think I've ever failed this jump, and actually, yeah, I must have multiple times, but that's basically what you gotta do. You gotta strafe and curve and land facing the wall. But if you miss it, say, and you catch the fail-safe, then you just run back here, and it's a nice little 3-tick. But yeah, it's not a fun jump, but I guess it's better to look out too much than to look out, to look too in, because then you'll hit here and not get the fail-safe. But if you're looking like way too much out, then you'll at least get the fail-safe. So just keep that in mind when you're doing it. But yeah, then here, easy jump, just drop down. You can jam or HH. And then this one, what some people do is they just go to like negative 0.7 or whatever and back up a little bit and then just run it. If that's what you want to do, by all means. Don't head hitter this, for the love of goodness gracious. Don't be a silly Billy. Or if you want like specific chords, let's just 720 and 0.7. There you go. Okay, and then this one, just go to like the edge and try and just eyeball it. The trick is to land like in between this corner, so you're not all the way down, but you're not, like, obviously you're not out here. I mean, really nothing will happen to you if you land like here. I don't even know how you would do that, to be honest. So yeah, never mind. I don't know. Just don't overthink it. Don't be a silly Billy. And then come to here, semi-HH, then go to like 275 and 92.5, and then it's the same thing in Courtyard for that one invisible Neo, just the other direction. Or you can just head hitter it, but please do not do that, because that would be silly. Then, what the? I don't even know what happened there. And then, easy stuff. Then this, come up to here. I mean, you don't have to do that all in succession on the real server, but it's all fail-safe literally to itself, so it doesn't really matter. Then this, you can just semi-HH. Curve a little, and then this you can also semi-HH. I would not recommend strafing on this if you are going to semi-HH it. What the? But yeah. Or if, you want to be extra safe, you could head hitter it, but honestly, it's probably safer to semi-HH it. So then this, just run it. And then this, heal, and then do like 1, 2, 3 taps, and then just Pessy with sprint. This one, do, again, 1 tap forward, Pessy. 1 tap forward, Pessy, and then, 1 tap forward and Pessy, and then, here. So last jump, well, second last jump technically, but what we want to do, 720, 4.2, head hitter, hold space, and then curve. Don't curve late, start curving as you're next to this. A lot of people, they'll be like, oh my god, I can't do it, even on practice, and the reason why is because they're scared they're gonna hit this. I mean, if you obviously, if you do like this and go like, well, boom, obviously you're gonna hit it. But you want to start slowly curving, like almost as soon as you jump off of this block, okay? And then you land here, and then just run that. Don't be a silly Billy. Come in here, and then it's a fail-safe. So what you're gonna want to do? Climb up the ladder. Don't fail this jump because you're silly. Then this, you want to look close to the edge of the diving board, semi-HH and hold space. It might take a little practice, but, it's not too bad, and it's worth it for the HH skip, in my opinion. And the barriers that are there actually help you, by the way. But then, yeah, then you just got a basic paint up, and then this one you are going to actually want to look at the very edge. I mean, it doesn't have to be exact, but, just eyeball it, and then it's like the same thing, just the other way. So just hold space. Then this one, head hitter, hold space, and then there's a barrier wall right here that you land on, and then you can just walk off onto the ladder, So then, you come in here, go over. So go up against the cobble fence. Then go over. 1 tap forward, Pessy with speed and sprint. And then, just repeat. This one, you can actually hold space like a cheeky little silly Billy. And then, you can just continue along. Nothing really too bad here. Then yeah, then you get to here, just you know, semi-HH, do like 1 or 2 taps over for this one. Run it, semi-HH, pretty easy. Then you get to the water section, okay? This one, you know, nah, I don't need to explain that. This jump, probably the only sort of difficult water jump. It's really not even that bad. So I look at, like, where the cement of the bricks end, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know, like the vertical ones. So if it might be different on my texture pack, so if you want like a coordinate like 69-ish. But basically, you want to hold sprint, and then press D, and then like right as your toes touch the water, imagine you're gonna want to switch from D to W, okay? Right as your toes touch the water. Okay, that was my fault. That was terrible. It is a bit tricky, but you know, you'll get used to it. But I recommend practicing that. But then, yeah, you know, this stuff is obviously very easy. And this jump is actually different on the real server. It's literally the easiest jump ever. On here, the strat doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Basically, what you want to do on the real server is just hold control or whatever you use to sprint. And then either jam or head hitter, either works. And just hold all of those keys. So once you either jam or sprint, just hold W, space, and control, and then you'll just magically land here every time, okay? Okay, so then, you know, you come up here, more easy peasy stuff. This one, I just Pessy. Okay, that was bad. What I do is I put my crosshair on the corner of this, and then right as I get out, I just strafe in, and it's, you know, pretty easy. If you want, though, you can just run it, but I think that's kind of gross. So I just Pessy it, okay? And then you come up here, and then what I do is I just go for the 4.5 timing to land on these 2 barriers right here. Because even if you don't, then, you know, you just got this, and it's easy, but this is just faster. It just saves a little bit of time if you just come up here and drop on top of the ladder. That's all. Okay? Alright, so then, you know, easy peasy stuff. This jump is a bit tricky. It just takes some getting used to. So, you go to 0.50, 175.1, semi-HH, and then you need to land like perfectly against the corner. So it's kind of a slow curve. I haven't done it in a while, so if I'm bad, I'm sorry. But yeah, it's a bit weird. No strafe, just a curve. If you strafe, you're not gonna make it like that. So it's a pretty slow curve. But yeah, then this, you know, just head hitter, or what I do is I think what I did was I like looked like 1 block over from the sea lancers and then like 1, 2, 3 taps back maybe, and then you can run it. But it's up to you. Whichever you find easier. And then this one, I go around the middle and then look at like that corner, and then this way, or actually no, I'm sorry. Look at like the back corner, and then even if, or maybe like look in the middle of this block, I think, and then even if you what's it called? You 2-tick instead of the full 3-tick, you're still gonna make it, I think. Okay, actually no, that's not the. Hold on, I had a strat that they like slightly over to this side. Yeah, okay. So if you go like slightly to the right of the center of the block and then look at like the center of the block, then you can 2-tick or 3-tick. And I just keep 3-ticking, trying to get a 2-tick so I can demonstrate. Okay, that was a 1-tick. Or not. Wait, hold up. Actually, yeah, there we go. So you just go like over and then look like a little bit out. Then you can either 2-tick or 3-tick, I believe. Unless I'm stupid, which I might be. Then that, you know, just Pessy walk. Run this, easy stuff. Then this, I use the same thing that I did in Courtyard, where you basically activate sprint at the last second. And I'd highly recommend using it for this one. I mean, again, the other option is to just run up like that, but it's just disgusting. Or you can head hitter it, I mean, if you really, really want to, but I don't know why you do that. But then, yeah, you come here, you know, more easy stuff. Don't really need explaining. You can just semi-HH this. Then this, I just do in succession. And then this, I look at, like, the under, where the ladder meets the wall, but, like, under it. Or wait, no, I'm sorry. Come up here first, and then you look at where the ladder meets the wall. And then you just run it. And then, yeah. Then these are all Z-facing. This jump's probably the hardest jump in R4, in my opinion. I either one-shot it, or it takes me forever. So, there's 2 strats are. But luckily, by the way, it is fail-safe to here as long as you don't like zoom off past the sea lantern. So what I do is I go to like 176.1 and then HH and strafe and curve. Again, it's a pretty late strafe. Or the other strat, if you don't want a head hitter, is you can run it, and it's basically the same thing. But I personally find that head hitter way much easier. But that's just me. Floor 2. Okay. So, floor 2, you know, run over to this side, and then, you know, just be wary of these cobble walls. Don't brush up against them, you know. If you need to, just take your time on that. Don't be a silly Billy. Most of floor 2 is actually fail-safe, so, you know. But yeah, so then come up here. This is actually a bit of, like, if you somehow fell on this side, this is just a quick time saver. You can actually do that. But then, yeah, then easy stuff. This, you can either skip to this water, or you can just go to this water. I personally just go to that water because it's easier, and this really doesn't save too much time, but it's like, you know, if you like doing that, that's fine. On the real server, this trapdoor should be flipped. Yeah. If you are on R4, just always flip this back. Don't be a silly Billy. But then, yeah, then just run this, and then, you know, this one, actually, don't be a silly, and just, sprint on that. Don't walk it. And then this one, just go over a little bit so you're not going to get wobble, sprint against these barriers, and then just do that in succession. Easy stuff. This one, I like to make my X point 700 and then just semi-HH. But the making a point 700 probably really isn't even necessary. But yeah. And this one, you want to look slightly out and semi-HH and curve at the last second. It takes a bit of practice, but it's worth it for the HH skip, especially since this jump is actually one of the few jumps that if you, what's it called? If you foul it, you don't get the floor 2 fail save. But yeah, so just come to here, look slightly out and curving at the last second. Then, you know, time saver again, try and move along the edges. But yeah, then these are all easy. You just semi-HH. Apparently Hulk is gonna just destroy my X tutorial, so rip. Then this one, just head hitter, you know, try and land here if you foul it. It's a bit tricky to land there though, I'm not gonna lie. So just head hitter. You can actually make it with a semi-head hitter, as I just showed, kind of. But it's easier as head hitter. And this one, I just do like one tap in and just semi-HH. And then this one, 2 strats basically. Head hitter, that's the most popular strat. I mean, but if you are gonna head hitter it, make sure you're just like looking out above this this thing, so if you foul it, you can land there. But what I do is, it's kind of weird. I do like 1, 2 taps over, and then I look at the corner, and then I like do kind of a force momentum type thing, but like not a slow force, even though it's with speed. It's like a regular force. So if you want to do that, by all means, go ahead and do that. But then this, you know, just do whatever you do for ladder plus 2s. Then just run this, and then this one, I look at like this fence, and then this jump is honestly probably the hardest jump at floor 2. To be honest, I think the pain to anvil is overrated as heck. This jump, in my opinion, is way harder for some reason. But yeah, just go there and strafe, and it's not bad though. It's still not bad. It's just not like something I could do with my eyes closed, you know. Sorry, I'm just looking over at my little chords tab. Okay, so point 20. Because I don't have the chords memorized for it since it's been a while, but point 20, and then I want to go to 2.4, but you want it to be over from 2.5. Wait, hold on. Oh, negative 2.4 from 2.5. I was going to be like, wait, that doesn't look right. And then just head hitter, hold space, and then curve in, but that's actually, I'm glad I did that, because make sure you don't curve in too late, or else that'll happen. But it's really not too bad. Just don't be a silly Billy, and you should never fail this. And if you don't know how to do note lock chords, where you go from a certain coordinate, basically what you do is you go optify and zoom, and so like the reason why it's over from 2.5 is because if you do it over from 2.3, you'll hit the block, so it needs to be over from 2.5. So basically, you just very slowly make it so it just barely goes over from 2.5. Okay, head hitter. If you want, you can strafe a little bit at the end just to make sure you won't over jump like I did the first time. But then, yeah. Pain to Anvil. Overrated, to be honest. It's very not difficult to be. It's really not bad. So go to like 750, 18.1, and then just run it. Okay, I'm bad. Watch me fail like 16 bajillion times in a row now that I said it's overrated. Yeah, 18.1. Basically the same thing as pain to block. Okay, that time I did the correct timing, but I did not strafe. You actually don't need to strafe for this jump if you're really not that good at strafing, but okay, what is going? I'm like not turning at all for some reason. Why is my brain being a silly Billy? I'm like 1 out of 2 on this on the real server. It's not the easiest thing, but it's okay. What is going on? I'm sorry. I'm just apparently the complete worst player in the game. Okay, there we go. So you just need to, it's kind of hard because these are barriers, you can't really tell, but you need to strafe basically like as soon as you jump, maybe a slight delay after you jump, but yeah, I don't really curve, I focus more on the strafe, but I'll try and do it for you right here with no strafe, because it is possible. It's not even that bad, to be honest, but okay, maybe it is a little bad, but I think it is actually possible without the strafe, but it's way easier with the strafe, so just strafe, okay? Let me just try and do it one more time. Yeah. Okay, then this, you can just Pessy walk. Okay, make sure you're facing slightly inward so you don't walk off. Then just run that. Head hitter, you know, don't foul it, don't be a silly. Then this one, just go to this one just to save time, and then easy stuff. I just recommend going in F5. Don't rush through it like that. Go down pretty far, and then, okay, you probably won't one-shot it like that. But just go down a little bit, you know, pretty not bad, and then, you know, again, don't rush through this like I am right now. Just don't be silly, and you'll be fine. And then this one you can just run off, and then you're in R5. So, this one, you know, just jump down, and then you can, the barriers will do all the work for you. You basically just need to, jump down and then hold W and control maybe, and it's really easy. Then you come to here, and 2 strategies for R5, okay? I personally don't use the one with speed because I think it's yucky, and I don't know why. I don't know how people do this, but here, let me actually get one that doesn't have a ladder on it. But basically what you do is you Pessy speed walk, and then you activate sprint at the last second. Like, it's not that hard to do. Like, I can do it. It's just I'm not nearly consistent enough at it to do however many there are in R5, especially when you add in like cobwebs to mix. Like, I just don't know why you'd add in that extra thing of having to activate sprint at the perfect time. But if you're just like naturally really good at that, by all means use it, but I'm not gonna, I would never use that. So what I do is I heal, then you're gonna go in a little bit, so like go to like 0.700 whatever, just so you're barely under the block, and then scooch over a little bit, and then just 1 tap forward and Pessy without speed. Some people say that Pessying without speed for 4 blocks is inconsistent, and they're right, but if you do 1 tap forward every single time, it is very consistent, and you'll never fail it. So just remember to do 1 shifted tap forward each time, and you'll be all good, okay? So then for this jump, I face 92.8, and then I do 1 tap over with A, and then the same strat again, but just strafe right after you pass the cobweb. Don't curve at all, because that's for sillies. Yeah, just strafe once you pass the cobweb. It might take a little bit of practice, but it's not. R5 is honestly not bad at all. I think I like 2-shot it the first time, and I think I probably have like a 1 out of 2 success rate on it. Maybe even better, to be honest. Probably like 2 out of 3, honestly, but yeah. And then, you know, we're just going to skip to here since it's, you know, pretty self-explanatory. And then this one, instead of 92.8, we're just going to go 2.8 off from 180, so 177.2. And then 1 tap over. And then this one I actually do use speed for. So you drink speed, and then I just run it and curve, and then heal again. You know, pretty easy. And then, you know, continue. And then this one, again, just 177.2, 1 tap over. And then it's the same thing. And then we're just going to skip to here. I mean, I really probably don't even need to go over this again. But the chord for this one would be 87.2, in case you're wondering. Okay, see, I actually did mess it up that time. These are really the only jumps you should ever fail in R5. Like, you should really almost never fail just basic 4 blocks like this with Pessy. I mean, I don't really know how you would. Unless you accidentally get a jam, but yeah. And then this one, you know, 2.8, 1 tap over, drink speed. Same deal as the last one, run it, curve, you know, pretty easy. And then, you know, 1 tap, and then this one, you know, you finally get to here, and then don't be a silly and do that, like actually back up to the edge. You can do like 1 tap forward if you want, because it is on a corner, so but yeah, make sure when you're on the real server you flip these trapdoors back. And then this jump, again, it's like the same in Park, but again, just like in R1, you don't have the wall here, so you're just gonna need to head hitter it and strafe and curve all the way back. But it's not too bad. I do it this way because I think it's easier, but I just look in between these two, and then it's pretty not bad. But yeah, so that's really, honestly, 99, like, unless you fail one of the things with cobwebs, that's pretty much the only jump in R5 you should ever fail. But yeah, or like that's, I mean, you might make silly mistakes, but like this is probably the only jump you really need to like worry about, I guess, kind of. And then this jump you can just semi-HH and strafe and maybe like slightly curve in. And then this one you just face like 135, basically just face the corner of the block, and then Pessy with speed. This one, same thing, but just do 2 taps forward first, 2 unshifted taps, and then, you know, same thing. This one, no taps, just do it. And then this, you can either, I believe the strat is, I don't even know what the head hitter strat is because no one uses it anymore, but I think it's head hitter and hold space. That time I tapped space. Here, let me test it. Okay, yeah, if you want, you can head hitter and hold space. I don't know why you do that when you could do this, but I mean, that is a valid strat, I guess, if you really want to use that. But face 160, and then just Pessy, and then hold space, and then just a slight curve the whole time. And the curve is pretty lenient, just as long as you're not like, as long as you're not like curve at the last second. Even still, you probably still can make it. It's just, what's it called? Your, the aim is going to be hard. So just, you know. I just curve slightly the whole time, you know. Okay, I'm glad I did that because it is worth mentioning that you do need to curve the whole time. Like if you need to curve before you land on it, not just once you land on it like that, or else you'll underjump. Okay. So in this, you're basically doing the same thing as those, but in order to not waste speed and have to heal on everyone, so you can do the tap over and it'll set up the chords automatically. You can just set up the chords manually, so just go to like 243. This one's just a pain to set up, to be honest. And then go to like 180, and then just go in a little bit and get to as close to 700 as you can, but still above 700, if that makes sense. But make sure you're maintaining the 243. If it's like one off, it's like 242, you'll be fine. But yeah, then 177.2, run it. And this one, you just need to go to 243. You don't need to do any of the, since there's no ladder, you don't need to go in at all with the facing 180 and get to 700, you know. But then, yeah, just 4.5 time, and then, you know, your R6. Okay. Drop down, 360, 100% necessary. Semi-HH. And then come to here, and then 45.8, and then just run it. And it's magic. You'll skip right through the cobwebs, okay? And this one, you can either do the double neo, but I think that's gross, so I go on the ladder and just face in a little bit, and then just run it and curve. And then you get to the head hitters, so be careful with the R6 hole, don't be silly. So, there is a strat where you can like head hitter once, and then it like magically takes you to here, because you can just like hold space. I don't know that strat. Again, I'm sorry, because I don't use that strat, so you might have to ask some people if you want to use that strat, but that's the thing with that strat is you still have to use a head hitter. So why use one head hitter when you can use no head hitters? So what I do is I heal and then just walk these. I like to jump before I walk them, just because, I don't know, it just makes it easier for me for some reason. But then this, you have a couple of options. You can either head hitter both of them, but, you know, that's gross. So what I do is I drink speed, and then I 3 tick, and then I wait 1 tick on that. So it's kind of a lot, but if you can get consistent at it, then it's, you know, it's not head hitter timing. And actually, I don't think I've ever failed these panes, except for the last one, which is the head hitter timing one that you absolutely need to head hitter. But yeah, the other option for this is basically just 2 head hitter timings. I don't think there's anywhere one where you can like hold space, but yeah. Then this speed, and then look at like the edge of the door, and then like 1 tap in, and then you do need to let go of W midair, which is kind of gross, but you know, gotta do what you gotta do. So let go of W, and you need to strafe over as well. And then I think it's easier to land on this block, but if you want to land on a ladder, then you know you can, whatever. But yeah, you do need to strafe over and let go of W midair. It's honestly, for me, I think it's the hardest jump in R6. I think this jump is underrated. But yeah, so then easy stuff. Just don't be silly. And then this one face like 70.8, and then semi HH, and right as you land, you want to hold your strafe key, and then it's just magic, and it magically makes you go across. But for some reason, if you don't want to use that strat, you can probably find chords to run it. Like if you want to use 80, if you want to use the same strat that is at the last R1 triple, you can use 89.2 and 4 taps, and then run it. I don't know. I think it's way easier to just do this. But just be careful that you let go as soon as you land, because you don't want to overjump. Okay? What the? My fly activated. So then, yeah, easy stuff. Pessy this. And then this, just look at like the center of the fence, and don't be bad at the game. Head hitter. And then you can actually just hold space, and it'll take you all the way to the brick. But you do need to curve slightly so you don't hit the brick. But yeah, so that jump's easy, and then come to here, and then this one. I don't really like going all the way to the edge. I don't know why, actually. I feel like one time I did that, and it made me glitch off or something. But for some reason, I don't like going to the edge, so I just go near the edge, and then I kind of run it like that. But I don't know. You probably could go to the edge, honestly. I don't know why I don't do that, but yeah. Then come to here. Oh, and yeah, don't be a silly and fellas. If you fell anywhere on here, by the way, I believe the best failsafe is to come get on the fences by doing that, and then come to the bookshelves. But yeah. Oh, and also, I forgot to say, when you're doing this jump, try and, if you get a jam, try and catch this ladder. Just, it is failsafe if you jam, but it's a bit hard. So, okay, that was a Pessy HH. I don't know what that was. So if you jam, just try and land there. I've never failed that, so that's why I'm not good at the failsafe. But yeah. So then these, if you want, you can A7 HH them to bypass the X-facing blockage, but I don't like doing that. So what I do is I go to 0.200. Sorry, I was looking at my chords again. And then face 92, and then 2 unshifted taps, and then just semi-HH and hold space, and then it's magic. And then this one, kind of like an R3 in Courtyard, 275, 92.5, and then just run it, and then strafe. And then these are all easy. If you want, what I do is I skip directly to this one. Because even though they are easy, you will probably have nerves at this point. So, yeah. I think that's easier, but, or not necessarily easier, I just like this better, I guess. I don't know. But now I'm failing it a lot, so maybe don't do that. I don't know. It's up to you. And then these, just run these, and then this one, just look at the corner and run it, and then, I like jumping before them again. But yeah. Then this one, face 124, and just semi-HH and hold space, and the wall support is pretty helpful. So it's magic. Oh, wait, hold on. You're supposed to do it from the, wait, no, you are supposed to do it from the cobble wall. I don't know what happened there. Just don't curve too early. It looks like we have an invisible hacker man right here, by the way. But yeah. So, this jump, I'm gonna give you a strat that'll make you never fail this again, okay? So, strat, get your Z to 0.700 by using the strat I explained earlier, and then go to 250, and then make sure this is still 0.700, and then go to 88.2 semi HH, and then curve in, and then you tap space on the ladder, and it's really easy. Like, it might look like you actually have to be precise with it, but I guarantee it'll work like every time. And then this, you just need a head hitter, but it's if you get a jam, you'll just land here, and then you can just jam back, and then here, and then this one just do like one tap just to ensure that you won't foul it. And then this one, what I like to do is actually go to like 0.500 just to make sure I won't foul it, and then look at like this corner and semi HH. So you made it to R7. So good job. So it's fail safe to R6 if you fell right here, and like half of it is fail safe back to R7 if you fell up here. But yeah. So for the slime, you just want to run it, and I curve. Some people like strafing better, but it's really up to you. I personally like curving and just kind of aiming for the slime manually, but some people I guess like strafing. But the oh, somehow I just overjumped it. Okay, make sure you don't do that. Maybe do it from this end so you're a little bit, so you won't overjump it, I guess. But the important thing with this jump is to not land on the slime to not land on the fence or the jukebox like this. Well, you would land on it like this, but you get the point, because if you do, you'll probably glitch back because of the anti-cheat. So make sure when you do it, you just are landing like over here, and you'll be fine. Okay? Okay, so the slime's pretty easy. Just don't be silly, okay? Then, this is probably the hardest jump of XI, my opinion. So, you need head hitter momentum for it. My strat that I use is I go to 0.20, and then you face 90, and then you do 2 taps, and then you face 86.2, and then I'm just going to try it one time, and if I don't make it, I'll just insert a clip, because it's kind of a pain to set up, and I haven't done it in like months, so, and even still, it's really hard, so, yeah, I didn't expect to make it. I don't know why I'm hitting the X facing. I'm probably doing the head hitter momentum wrong, but I'll insert a clip of me completing it, okay? Okay, so you beat that, and you're here. Then for this, I recommend getting a little bit of head hitter momentum. I mean, you can just run it if you want. It's kind of up to you. I personally just like to get one. I like to tap space once while I'm doing it, just to make sure I'm gonna complete it. But if you want, if you're really not comfortable with that, I mean, you can just run it. But it's really easy. Just don't overthink it. And then this, just make sure you're not gonna hit your head on that. So just go around it, and then come up here. And then this is actually different, so I have it rebuilt so I can show you. So basically, this is, I dropped my speed. This is still the same, just come up here. And then this is just a regular paint up instead of a 3-block ceiling one. It's just a regular paint up. So just, you know, however you do paint ups, which I'm assuming it's the no speed strat, but that's pretty much what all XIs do. But then this, you know, pretty easy. You have wall support, so you could literally not even curve at all, and you'll still land on the ladder. But I basically do it, imagine it's a paint up. It's literally the same movement. And then for this, I just semi-HH and strafe and curve. You can head hitter it if you want, but in my opinion, that's kind of a waste of a head hitter timing, especially when it's life or death. So, I just like semi-HHing, but I mean, if you really can't do the semi-HH, then I guess you can head hitter it, but I personally find it way easier. Just semi-HH it, but it's up to you. But then, yeah, then you just come up here. Okay, one time I actually did fall out on Real, so if you don't, just make sure you take your time on this and actually, you know, just line it up and don't be silly, okay? But yeah. So, once you do that, then, you know, you just come to this ladder, then this, I go to 0.700, and face like 179. It doesn't really matter. And then just semi-HH. And this is a life or death head hitter, although you can, if you have good reaction time, what you can do, okay, I got a head hitter, I meant to jam. What you can do is you can turn around really quick and catch yourself on the stage. It's kind of hard to do. But as you can see, like, if you want to do that as the regular jump, like, if you want to overcompensate for the curve, even if you do get a head hitter to, like, kind of prepare yourself in case you don't, that could be helpful. So like just get used to doing a sharp curve like that, but obviously you don't want to overdo it. And you know, even if you get your head hitter, you do that, and then because you know, but like just to prepare yourself in case you get a jam. You know what I mean? So if you want to do that, you can, but you know, it's up to you. I just head hitter it, and I mean, I don't just hope for the best, but just be aware that you can catch yourself, I guess. But yeah, then this 0.700, 0.700 again. Basically, you can either semi-HH, and I face 179, by the way, but I don't, it's pretty lenient, or you can curve. It's up to you, whatever you find easier. But yeah, make sure you are facing 179, because since it is, if you are semi-HHing it, and there is a ladder here, so it is actually a bit, like, far, but, you know, it's not too bad. Then you just come up here, you know, 4.5 timing. Then this, you can either 2-tick with speed, but I don't like that because I just, like, subconsciously want to run the full length of the block. So I feel like I would fail it a lot if I did that, and it's a 2-tick, which is, you know, kind of gross. So what I do is I do a 4-tick without speed, and you can just run the full length of the block without speed, and then it's pretty easy. But yeah, it's up to you, whichever one of those you like better. And even so, like, you know, if you fail, then you just have to redo this. So it's not really too big of a deal. But then yeah, so you get to here. I recommend drinking speed again if you did heal. You know, do this jump, and then this jump you wanna just face slightly over, so you are away from the wall. So like go away from the wall and then face slightly over and do 1 tap back, so you're still away from the wall, and then face like 59 or something, and then basically you just want to sprint off and curve. It's not too bad. You just gotta experiment with the curve for yourself a little bit. It's really not bad though. You could probably you probably won't fail this on the real server. Once you get the curve, it's really easy, trust me. It might look hard, but it's not. And then you come to here and then just go against the fence, strafe over, and then just run it. You know, and then these, they are fallible, even though you know they're easy when you have nerves and you're far in R7. You know, just you're gonna have nerves, especially since it's life or death to R6. So I just semi-HH pretty much all of them. You know, this one I actually do run, so I don't really have chords for running them. You could find chords if you want, but I just kind of go over a little bit and eyeball it. But it's up to you if you want to find chords. I don't really think it's necessary, but if you want to, go ahead. And then this one I also run. And then this one, semi-HH, and then this one I run. So it's up to you if you want to find chords. I don't really think it's necessary, but if you're the type of person that just can't eyeball things, especially with nerves, then you know, you might want to find chords. But then, yeah, so you just run over here. Just make sure you go off to the left so you're not going to hit this pane. Then you can just Pessy walk this with speed. And then I recommend healing here, unless you're the type of person that did the thing in R5 where you walk Pessy with speed and then activate sprint last second. But most people probably aren't going to do that, so then you just do the same thing that you did in R5, 1 tap forward. Pessy with sprint and no speed, same deal here. Don't risk running these, like, with 4.5 timing with speed. Like, just waste the speed pot, do the slash heal, you know. Like, you don't want to, you know, it's worth it. And then you can drink speed here, and then, you know, again, just walk that. Make sure you're not going to hit the panes, and then, you know, come to here. And then this one, I'm not sure if there's a strat where you can, like, just semi-HH and hold space. I'm pretty sure there's not, but I don't know. What I do is I come to the edge of this, and then I just semi-HH, and then you have to wait a tick on this cobble wall right here, and then you just tap space everywhere else. So here, you just wait a tick, and then tap, and then, you know, it's really not bad. And again, it is fail-safe to the top of the stage, so yeah, not too bad. And then, you know, you can either, you can come directly onto this pane, or on this one. It's, you know, don't overthink it. And this is easy. It might look difficult, but it's actually basically the same movement as just like a pane tower as far as how you're pressing your keys. So I just semi-HH, strafe, and curve. You could head hitter it again if you want, but I think that's kind of gross. It's kind of just a waste of a head hitter. Yeah. So then this, I think some people actually, let's try it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 and then semi HH and hold space. If you want to do that, go ahead and do that. You know, just to guarantee that you're gonna make it. Or I believe what I did is I just went up onto the slab and ran it. It's really, again, it's just don't overthink it. It's not bad. Then this, you know, just come around. And then also, do this from this side. Don't do it from this side, because if you fail this, then you're back in R6. But if you fail it right here, assuming, even if actually, okay, yeah, if you run off, you're probably gonna fail it. But if you do if you do too short of a time, you'll land here, and then you can just drop down to here actually, and then you're basically back already. You just have to do some easy stuff. But what you want to do is face 16.0, and then it's just a nice little 2-tick or 2-tick, yeah. And then you don't even have to strafe, curve, or anything, and it's just magic. Yeah, I personally like jumping before I do really any timing. I don't know, it helps me for some reason, but if you don't like that, then don't, but I personally think jumping helps. But yeah, okay, let's just pretend I made that. Then this, I just do like 2 taps forward, because, you know, normally you wouldn't foul this, it's just a 4-block, but since it has 2-block momentum and with the nerves and stuff, you know, I just do 2 taps, so it is just like a regular 4.5 timing. But, you know, most of these are just not overthinking it. That's all you gotta do. And then, you know, you come back here, and then easy stuff. Just make sure you go to 0.300, just to guarantee you won't accidentally get, like, the Z facing won't act like an X facing, just to make sure you actually can get past it. You shouldn't have any issues, but, you know, sometimes, I don't know why it happens, the Z facing will act like X facing, and you'll, like, brush against it. So just go to 0.300 to make sure that won't happen. And this you can just semi HH, and then this you can just go right to here. And then this, basically 1 tap forward, and then you just want to do a 1-tick and hold space. The trick is basically, there's not really a trick, but the thing you need to be careful of is if you don't get the right timing, you need to bow, or at least try. So like if you accidentally head hit her, you need to realize and not hold space. So I recommend practicing it a lot so you can kind of get used to catching yourself. But yeah, so that's that. It's really not too bad. It's just nerves make it kind of difficult on the real server, but you should be alright. So yeah, and then 4.5 timing, easy stuff. And then this I actually use chords for because I'm bad, so I go to like 95.2 and do like 2 taps over, and then you can just run it. And even if you brush against that, as you can see, you still make it. Or if you don't brush against it, which is ideal, then you'll make it as well. So it just makes it nice and easy. So yeah, then you're in R8. So there is a little skip that you can just, the barriers basically, you can go down to here, and then you're like you're not really far in, but you're like, you can skip a little bit of it, but you're probably not going to one-shot R8 without touching the ground. So I'm going to start from the ground, but that skip is there for the first time you get it, just so you know. So come on this brewing stand, this, you know, just jam or HH, whatever. And then this, it's kind of weird because it has this weird like 3-block ceiling thing, but it's not a full 3-block ceiling, so it's easy to, like, if you do it from only 2 taps back, you can get caught on it. I don't know, it's weird. So basically you want to go all the way, it doesn't have to be exact, but like just pretty far back on this, but not up on the slab. So just like kind of estimate, and then you don't want to land in there, but if you do, then you could just do that. But what I do is I try and go all the way back, you know, and then I just kind of HH it, and, you know, I think you can actually jam it as well, but oh my god, you have to do like you can't actually no, I lied, you can't jam, you have to HH it, I think. But actually, hold on, this is weird, no, because, okay, I think you have to HH it, but I don't know. Yeah, okay, if you jam, you can land here, and then you can do that. Okay, yeah. Sorry, it's been a while since I've done that. But then, you know, easy stuff, ladder +2s, single neos, nothing. You know, just do these however you want. easy jump, Z facing, some more Z facing easiness. And then this, you just want to come all the way back here and then look like a little bit off from the ladder. If you want to find chords, maybe like 22, and then run it. And then as soon as you start falling, you want to hold space. So you don't even really need to curve. You use like 23. You probably can just, yeah, you don't even need to curve at all. But yeah, if you, for some reason, you don't like that strat, which I don't know why you wouldn't like that strat. And by the way, chords are really not necessary. It's a pretty lenient, like, there's a pretty big window of what you can use. But if you really don't like that strat, you can come barely down onto these stairs and then just run it. But I don't know why you would do that when you could, you know, do the other strat that's basically 100%. But, you know, if for some reason you don't, then go ahead and do that, I guess. But then this, yeah, easy ladder plus 2s. And then this one, you just want a 4.5 timing. Look slightly out, and then just kind of strafe in a little bit, just so you don't, like, if you don't strafe, that'll happen. So once you get on the ladder, you know, just straight. Okay, I messed that up. Just, you know, okay, what is going on? Once you get on the ladder, then just strafe so you don't over jump. It's really not difficult though. Okay, I don't know why I keep failing it. Okay, apparently I can't 4.5 time because I'm bad. Okay, there we go. Jeez Louise. Alright, I'm making this jump look a lot harder than it is. I promise it's actually like the easiest jump in the game, and I'm just bad, okay? Okay, so then this you just semi-HH. And then you don't want to bounce on this, you want to land on it, so just shift so you won't bounce, and then semi-HH to here, easy, pained stuff, you know, just do these however you want, and then just 4.5 time that. And then this, what's it called? Just, you know, again, pretty much however you want, and this is literally fail-safe to itself if you fail. So, you know, I don't really need to go over this, just whatever you want. And then this, I just recommend kind of running it and then like letting go of W in space midair, so you're kind of like jamming over and over. So because if you hold W and control the whole time, you'll probably overjump. So I just let go W midair a little bit, and then it's, you know, pretty easy. And you can just semi-HH to here. Now this is probably the hardest jump of R8 in my opinion. A lot of people like think that section is, but this is actually, in my opinion, way harder. So go to 0.300 on your X. If you want, you can get it on both. I don't think it really matters on your Z, but then you want to face 5 and then do 2 taps over and 1 tap forward, and then 4.5 time, and make sure your speed doesn't run out. So 5.0, 2 taps over, 1 forward, 4.5 timing, and then curve. Don't strafe until don't start strafing to get on the ladder until you do this. Like, you don't want to strafe to get past this block. Just curve until you're about to land on the ladder, basically. So we'll see if I can do this. Okay, that time you want to make sure you don't brush against the block, because that'll happen. So 2 taps, 1 forward. I'm bad at the game. This jump is, in my opinion, though, 100% the hardest jump of R8. It's pretty bad. There we go. Yeah. So you need to start strafing to get on the ladder once you, or don't start strafing. I don't know. Maybe once you're like halfway up in the air again. I don't know. It's just kind of instinctive, to be honest. But yeah. And then you just run to here, and then this one just go over a little bit and run it, and then this has a barrier over it, so in order to not head hitter, just do it from the ladder. And then come to this side, and then this, as you can see, also has a barrier, so you can literally just come to the edge and semi-HH it if you want. But yeah, and then easy stuff, then you can just come to the edge and semi-HH. And then this, make sure, if you're using Optifine, make sure you have fast math off, because it'll mess you up, and you'll hit the block. So what you want to do, so you want to go to this front edge, and you want to go to 35, and then just semi-HH and hold space, and then it's magic. So don't strafe at all, just curve. But it's actually, like, really easy. I think you'll probably be, like, you might fail it, like, once, when you have nerves, because, you know, maybe the first time you beat R8, you might have nerves at the end, but trust me, once you, are in R8 for like over an hour, you won't have nerves in it like at all. Or maybe you will, I don't know. But you don't want to, the curve is, it's not really a big curve, as you can see. You kind of want to almost be like facing the same, like you want to kind of be facing straight, but just a little bit in. Okay. So then this one, just 3.4, 2 taps, or 1 tap over and 2 taps forward, and then it's just a nice little 4.5 timing. Actually, I'm not sure if it's a 4.5 timing. Hold on. 1, 2. Okay, I feel like it's a 3 tick, but it might be a 4.5. I don't know. You can do it on practice and see what the timing is. I for some reason I can't tell. But yeah, then this you can either just go up here and run it, or what I do is I go to like the middle of the trapdoor and just semi HH and kind of curve in a little bit. You know, just don't overthink it. To be honest, it's pretty easy. But then yeah, then you come down here, easy stuff. Just don't be silly. Then this, you go, what I do is I do 87.0 and then 1 tap over and 1 tap forward and then just run it, and it's pretty easy. I believe that is a 4.5 timing. So yeah, and then this one, just go in the back corner and look at this edge, and then you can just press EHH with speed and sprint. And then this one, look at this corner and 1 tap forward and then just run it. And then these, you know, easy. Then these ladders, you know, pretty self-explanatory. You know, just do whatever you want. And then this strat, you can either just go out and then have to strafe in, but that's yucky. Because you have to strafe, and actually you probably would want to curve a little bit. I don't know. It's kind of gross. So what I do is I go to 0.700 and 0.300, and then I move away from the wall, but make sure this is still 0.300, and face 3.4, and then do 1 tap forward, and then you can just 4.5 time, and you don't have to strafe or curve or any of that. And it's magic, but just make sure you shift on the ladder, because I believe if you don't, let's test that actually real quick. I believe if you don't shift on the ladder, you'll fall off. Let's see. Yeah, so make sure you shift on the ladder once you land on it. But yeah, then, you know, more of this easy stuff. Then you can just sprint that, and then this, just semi-HH. And then this one, I mean, if you really want, you could do the slime, but I don't know why you would do that. It's just a semi-HH. But I think it's, I mean, you really should never fail that, but it's even easier if you just go to like right here, and I believe it's like the middle one, and then you hold W and control, or sprint, I mean, and then you press space and then tap space on the pane and the slabs, and then it brings you to here. And then you can just drop around here, and okay, don't go up onto this andesite, because there's barriers. So just do it from the stair, and then okay, go like far out so you don't accidentally go on the andesite, I guess. I don't know. You could honestly just walk off. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Then yeah. So then the chest section, the dreaded chest section. So 2 strats. The first one, which is disgusting, is that, like, the OG old one, which is gross. I don't even know how people, like, I used to use this strat before the 1 block momentum one was a thing. I don't think I've ever made it on the real server using this strat, though. But yeah, that's basically what you have to do, but you actually have to make it into the chest, so don't use that strat. I mean, unless you, for some reason, are just naturally really good at that strat. I believe if you want to use the official strat, I think it's 1 unshifted and 1 shifted tap, and then you face, like, right next to that, like, notch, and then, yeah, you do it like that. But it's pretty gross, so I would not recommend doing it like that. So what I would do, or what I do, is go to 0.297 on here and face 91, and then this is going to take some getting used to, okay? So what you do is you're going to press forward, so W, and then sprint, so for me it's control, and then space. So W, control, space, all 1 tick apart. And it's kind of weird, kind of hard to do for me, but yeah, so basically that's what you do, and then you strafe in to get into the chest. But that's kind of yucky, right? Because it's like, I don't know, my fingers, it's just kind of like, your fingers have to be like all over the place, and it's just, it has to be like a precise timing. And so it's kind of gross. So what I did, and I think I'm like 5 out of 6 on real server with doing this, is I change my controls. So I make WA. So here, let's see. So where is it? Where even is it? Wait, what? Okay, where is it? Okay, here it is. So I make WA, and then you can make your A whatever for now. You're gonna change it back, but this is just temporary. And then you make your sprint S, and then you can make this whatever. And then you make your jump D. Okay. So now what you can do, and I'd recommend setting up the chords on the real server and then logging off to practice and change your controls and whatnot. But make sure you set up the chords first so you don't have to attempt to set up your chords with these weird controls. So then what you can do is you can just press A, S, and D all one tick apart. And so it's kind of like playing a piano, you know? Like your fingers, they just go 1, 2, 3, like each one of your fingers. And so I find that way easier. As you can see, I just failed. I don't even know what my keybinds are. How do I get up? Oh no. What is my jump? Jump is D. Oh, I see. Let's see if I can actually manage to get back in. Okay. It's quite strange, as you can see. See if I can. Wait a second. Okay, I don't know. That's why you probably want to set this up. And some people don't like using this because it's the most pain thing to do, having to like, you know, try and redo it with you know, with these controls. It's kind of a pain, but I personally find that way easier. We're not gonna talk about how I failed it, but if you want, you don't need to change your controls, but for me it's worth it. Change your controls, but it's up to you. Let me just see if I can complete it one more time. I don't know, I just don't like it when it's like the regular controls though. Just not my thing. Oh my god, can I get 297 please? Thank you. Okay, I think I actually did the right time there. I just didn't strafe in. But anyway, enough of that. So this block's actually removed on the real server, but either way, you still need to get a head hitter. So what I do is I just do like 2 taps forward, and then I don't know what that was. 2 taps forward, and then head hitter, and then, you know, it's you know, just don't overthink it. 2 taps forward, head hitter, and then this jump is also changed. So before you had to do some weird timing. You could either chain momentum or you could do some weird thing and get to here, but now it's 1 block over, so I have this on single player as well. So what you can do, you have two options. You can either head hitter from the back if you want to, you know, do a head hitter timing, or what I do is I face 105 and then semi-HH from the back and curve in at like the last second, and I like, let's see, there we go. So it's kind of weird. It takes some getting used to. Some people just like the head hitter better than this, but I personally like doing this strap better because it's just a semi-HH. Yeah, so it's up to you. You can use whichever one you're more comfortable with. The curve is kind of weird, but once you get used to it, it's not bad. But then this jump, keep in mind that since this ladder is 1 block closer, it's going to be slightly harder than on practice. It's still not too bad, but I think actually no, I failed this jump once on real, but yeah, it's still really easy. Just don't overthink it. Same with this one. You can either slow force with the 3 block ceiling, or you can just 4.5 time and run it. It's up to you. Then this, there's actually a pane here, so you can get up to this block on the reel. So then this one, basically, you just need to let go of W midair to be careful that you're not going to over jump anything. You might even need to let go of it before and after the slime, depending on if you do a 2-tick or 3-tick right here. But yeah, then that's easy. And then this jump, it's pretty bad. What I do is I face like that outer edge of that crafting table, and I think I do like 1 tap forward. And then it's just a 4.5 timing and strafe, and it's strafe and curve. It's pretty bad. I can't really give a good strat for this because there really isn't a good strat for this. It's kind of just one of those jumps where it's just gotta get sort of decent at the bad strat and kind of just hope for the best on the real server. But yeah, I mean, once you practice it, you can actually get pretty decent at it. It's just I haven't done it in a while, so I'm not used to the strafe and curve. But okay, I'm not. No, I think when I recommend practicing this and getting to be like maybe like 1 out of 2. Try to be, I don't know. But there might, or you can try a different strat going from maybe like the middle. But the only real strat that I know is to do this. But apparently it's absolute garbage since I can't even complete it more than once. Okay, yikers. Well, I guess this just shows you how bad this jump is. It's not even that bad. I'm just really bad at the game, I think. There we go. So yeah, then this, just make sure 300, 300, and then semi-HH. Wait a tick on the first one. And then, you're gonna have to let go of W a couple times, just so you don't overjump those. But I recommend doing these all in succession. Because you might say, oh, why would you let go of W midair? But trust me, that's probably going to give you less hesitation and be a lot easier than if you do all of these individually. Especially because of stuff like that, where you can, like, shift on the pane but still fall off. So I think it's easier if you just let go of W midair a couple times. But, I mean, if you really want to, you can run all of them. But I think that's kind of gross. And also on this one, make sure you either curve in or you strafe backwards, so you don't do the thing where you even though you're shifting, you still fall off, you know. Then yeah, so you can come to here. Then this, I don't really need to give strats for this because it's all file safe and it's all super easy. But you know, I'll just do it once. So 4.5 timing, head hitter. Excuse me, what? Head hitter, then, you know, you can just walk that, whatever. And, you know, pane towers, and then this, you know, whatever. And then this, you know, 4.5 timing. So, this one, Serena's a silly sausage. So she put the barrier, it's not on this side on the real server, it's on this side. So, basically, the strat is not going to work on practice, but it will work on the real server. But I would recommend, if you do get to here on the real server, check that the barrier using F3, so like it should say Minecraft barrier right here if there is one barrier where you're facing. Check to make sure she didn't switch it again, because honestly, I would not be surprised. Now that it's like so well known that it's switched, she might have switched back. But yeah, so just check, and then do 3 unshifted taps, assuming it is still the same. So it's on the opposite side, and then just semi-HH and hold space. And as you can see, it's not going to work on here, but on the real server, there's a barrier here, so it'll work. But then, yeah. So, it doesn't really matter. I don't think any side you can get a failsafe. You might... Wait, I think... Because, I mean... I guess you could... The best failsafe you can get on either side is just back to the chest section if you land on those stairs. But I believe it doesn't really matter what side. So, I'm just going to demonstrate on this side. So, come here to the window. And then, you can actually just semi-HH this. I don't know what I'm doing. And then, you know, just go against the ladder. And then this, what I like to do is I face that, I don't know what it's called, but like that red thing on the rail. And then I just semi-HH, and don't let go of shift midway through. And then I just kind of, that's like my regular ladder plus 2 strat. But I know a lot of people don't do it like that. But for this jump, that's what I do. So don't sprint, just curve, no strafe. But I believe you can also, if you're the type of person that likes to do the ladder plus 2s with sprinting, I believe it is possible like that, yeah. But I don't know. I like this strat better. But then this, apparently you can A7HH it somehow. Fuzz knows how. I honestly don't know how that's possible, because whenever I do it, it's like not even getting close. But apparently it is possible. If you're one of the people that can do that, by all means just A7HH it instead of regular. But I don't know how people do that. So what I do is I just head hitter time, land on top of the ladder, and easy stuff. And then the quad neo. So you want to get to point 300. Or actually, no, you want to go to 296. I lied. 296, and then 172.9, and then like one tap forward, I believe, and then just semi HH and hold space, and then it's actually, I think it's two taps forward. My bad. Okay, it's been a while since I've done this because I'm freaking bad at the game. 172.9, two taps forward, if I remember correctly. Yeah, and then you just curve, and then you make it. Okay, and then this jump, just be careful that you don't like go too far in, and you know the ladder blocks you. Just make sure you do a nice, precise, tight curve in between here and here. But then yeah, and this you can either jam or head hitter. It's kind of up to you. I usually try and jam, but if I get the head hitter, then I like correct for it midair, I guess. But yeah, so you climb up the ladder, and then you're at sky. Cool. Good job. Okay. So, Scott, you probably want one shot. Because there's some like jumps that even if they were in like a building or a room, they would still be considered like problem areas that are hard jumps, much less, you know, in a life or death sky. So, probably won't one shot it, but you know, maybe you will. So first, start off just holding W and sprint, press space and hold it, and it's magic. And then this, you can either, I mean, some people, I don't think anyone has actually ever done this on real, but some people apparently like, okay, I don't even know what I did there. Some people apparently like doing all of these in succession. I don't even know how you would, I mean, if you like doing that on real, or if you're really good at that, by all means, go ahead and do that on real, but I think it's disgusting. So what I do is I just make this a regular 4.5 timing, so you just go to like 700, and then scooch over. It doesn't have to be exact, and then 4.5 timing, 4.5 timing, don't foul it. Like, it's actually really common to fail these, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think like half of the XI Sky players have failed a 4.5, but, so don't think you're bad at the game if you fail it, because it's actually pretty common. But then this, you can just do like a couple taps over and land on top of the ladder. You can find chords for it if you want. But yeah, then this, you know, easy ladder +2. And then these, you know, what I do, I have vantage points for all of them, because when you're in sky, I kind of need them, so I look at, like, that one, that yellow head hitter thing, and then this, I look, like, in between those windows. And then this, I drink speed for and do, like, I think 112.6, yeah, semi-HH. And then these, you know, again, just kind of look in between those windows, and then this one, maybe in between those green things, or like at the side of that window. I don't know. You can find what works for you best, but that's what I use. And then this, you know, just run. These, okay, so some people have chords for these where they like find specific chords and they can just jam and it'll do it for you, but I don't really like that. So what I do is I just drop down a little bit, and then I press W and strafe at the same time, and then I go around the middle, drop down a little bit, W and strafe at the same time, and then it's pretty easy. But yeah, if you want to find chords, you can do that, but I don't really think it's necessary. And also, it is worth mentioning that everyone thinks that this skip is, I mean, not everyone thinks it's possible, but if you're one of the people that knows about this skip right here, where you skip all of that, and then you can go directly to here, that's actually, it's patched on the real server. There's barriers here, so you can't do it, so don't try and do it, and then, oh, whoops, I failed Sky because I tried to use a skip. So just be aware that that is patched. But then, yeah, then this, you can just kind of go all the way to the top, hold S, and then just switch to W really fast. And then this, I just like to semi-HH and skip to here. And then this is the same deal as before. And this is also easier on the real server because there's another vine down here. But even still, even if it was like this, it's still pretty easy. Just use the same strat as before. And then this again, just switch to S and then switch to W. Then this jump, probably the hardest jump of Sky. Luckily, it is over R5, so even if you foul, you're still back in room 4 to 7. So there's two strats. One, you can either head hitter it like that. Some people like that better. it's up to you. It's kind of just personal preference. I don't really like doing this head hitter because I don't get enough distance, I feel like. But if you want to head hitter it, you can do that. But what I do is I go to .200. Kind of a weird strat, but you know, it's just what I do. So .200 and then 76.9 and then one unshifted tap and then I run it. And it's pretty hard. It's a pretty hard jump. Again, it's kind of like, it's one of those jumps where it's just, you're never going to be 100% on it. It's just not going to happen. So it's just kind of one of those jumps where you need to practice it until you're semi-decent at it, and then just kind of hope for the best on the real server. But yeah, so I can't really give too much assistance there. I can just tell you those two strats, and then that's kind of just one of those jumps you're just going to have to practice. But then for this, I go to .508. And then I face 172.0, and then I drop down, and then you press W, and then it's pretty magic. So again, 508, and then like 172, and then drop down, press W, and hold control, or hold sprint when you do that, by the way. And then yeah, it's really not bad. Behind the ladders. If you don't have a strat, it's probably one of the hardest jumps, but with a strat, it's pretty easy. So, yeah. Then this, I just do that, and just be careful not to overjump this. And then this, you can just look at that, and then just hold space. And then this, look at the corner and do one shifted tap, and then even if you do a short timing like that, you'll still make it. So again, okay, you can't do that short of a timing, but if you do a 2-tick, then you'll make it. So then these. So, these, don't be a silly Billy and head hitter them, okay? What you want to do is you want to get to .300, .700, using the speed strat where you, like, face a little bit out. And then you want to go, so you're just barely facing 180. And then you should be able to shift, and it should be like, it should feel like a regular block. And then you just want to run it. But as you can see, since you are technically facing out a little bit, you do need to curve back in after you jump. So again, it should feel like a regular block, and then you can run it and then just curve in. And then same thing on this one, except instead of landing on a block, you're landing on a ladder. Not really a big deal. So just curve out the other way. And then this, I just look at the right side of the ladder and do one unshifted tap and then Pessy with sprint and speed. And then some people don't like that because, I don't know, I think maybe how you like kind of bump against the block like that, it kind of is weird for them. But I think this is the easiest strat. The only other strat that I really know of is to run it from back here. Or I think what some people do is they Pessy it from back here and then activate sprint. But I don't like having to activate sprint, especially on Sky when you get hesitation. So I just like this because you can hold sprint the whole time. It's pretty easy. But then yeah, so you get to Courtyard Sky. So for this, don't head hitter it, please. What I do is I go to 238 and then 177.6 and then Pessy. And you do have to, it's kind of weird because you jump twice. Some people, like, just know that you're going to jump twice and get used to it. And then you're just going to strafe in and strafe back a little bit. This is, in my opinion, the easiest strat. But this jump, just in general, even with Pessy, is a bit difficult because of it's just a really short jump. So you're going to have to, like, strafe back a little bit in order to not over jump. But yeah. Then this jump, on the real server, the slab is raised by 0.5, which is actually kind of bad because I think Serena, when she did that, she meant for it to be a nerf, but it actually makes it kind of a buff because before, when it's a 2 block, you could actually Pessy it and land on top of the ladder, but you can't do that anymore. So what I do is I just go to the back and I try and get a jam, but if I get a head hitter, then it's still pretty easy, but I can't really demonstrate the jam on here. So I'll just demonstrate using a head hitter. It really doesn't matter either way, whether you get a jam or a head hitter. It's not a bad jump. So just strafe and curve, it's not too bad. And then I'm sure most of you probably know the strat where you go to the edge and semi HH, but there's a bit of an issue with that on real because the slab is raised. So what you do on real is 3 unshifted taps and then just semi HH. Still just as easy, but you know, yeah. And then this, you just go to 0.300, 0.700, mate, so you don't get messed up by the Z facing, act like the X facing, and being a silly, and then just look at like the side of the trapdoor, and then easy. And then this, you can either do this strat where you head hitter and hold space. That was not a head hitter. Because, I mean, these jumps are really, really easy, but it's like, you know, when you're in an XI sky, especially Courtyard sky, it's like you're probably going to get hesitation even for jumps like this. So you can either do that, or, I mean, you can just run it. But what I did was I actually didn't use speed, and I semi-HH'd and did like a slight curve and kind of just held space. But it's up to you. They're really easy. Just don't overthink them. Then for this jump, you can either, I don't know how people do this. Like, I've done it before, but I don't know the official chords for like the strat. I don't think people actually do that as like a strat, just because the curve and the timing, it's way too much to handle on Courtyard sky. So the easier way is to go to 330, 330 and then 143, and then you just run it, and then you don't stray for any of that, and then it's just easy. So this is the much easier strat. And then once you land on it, you might want to curve in a little bit, just so you don't, you know, accidentally run off or something. I don't know. But yeah, it's pretty easy actually. So then you just come to here, and then you got these. So what you want to do to Pessy them is go to 176, and then go over from 0.2 to 0.3. So you're just barely on 0.3, and then you can just Pessy them with sprint. And if you notice, I actually don't shift until the last one. I just strafe in, and then I shift on the last one, because I don't know, I just find that easy, because it's just like you can just do it, and then you're already set up for the next one, so you don't really hesitate on it. But just make sure you strafe in, so you don't over jump like that. And also, I mean, you can curve if you want. I just don't like curving again, because that way you have to set up the 173.6 each time, and I don't know, when you're on the server on Courtyard Sky for that long in one period of time, the nerves really build, at least for me. So I just like this because it's quick and easy. So yeah. And then if you want to do it from this side, it's the same thing. It's just, instead of, you just do it from this way. So it's negative 176.3 from negative 176.2. And then the last jump. So you might see some people do it like this. This is somehow the most well-known strat, where you just run it from here. But this strat is absolute garbage. I would not recommend it at all. Yeah, it's just, you just don't get enough momentum. So what I do is I go to here, and I do 2 taps forward, and then run it, and then tap space. Okay? So the trick is to not land on this pane close to the block. You want to land pretty far out, so you have plenty of time to curve and not hit this block. And also don't strafe. If you strafe, it's just gonna mess you up. So curve in slightly so you land on the block, but then curve out once. So here, let me do it with fly and go slow. So curve in slightly to land on this, and once you land on this, curve out to land on the edge of this, and then curve back in. And then this jump, just don't be silly. Yeah, I'd recommend don't YOLO this. It is kind of a hard jump though. I'm not gonna lie, because even with that strat, it is possible to foul if you hit that block. So just really practice the curve. And also, this is just a tip that I use for really any thing where you get hesitation and nerves, is I just tell myself that I'm on the practice server. Like, I don't know, even just like consciously pretending that, for some reason it really helps me and lessens the nerves. And you can also listen to like calming music if you want, if that helps you. Yeah, so there you go. Hopefully that helped. Yeah, I expect everyone who watched this to get XII now. See you later.